Live from the harbor station is the Vector Spaceman Show! Now, here's your host, Vector Spaceman!
Hello, Space Cadets! It's your old pal, Vector Spaceman. We're back at it again, of course, and coming to you live, once more, straight from Harbor Station. We're broadcasting on all frequencies to our beautiful planet Earth. You guys, hold on, let me just shoot right on out here. There we go, fantastic. Jamline, good to see you. Happy Tuesday. Wonderful to have you here. Whether you're watching us live or catching us after the show, don't you know, we're glad to have you all on board. Thanks for helping us make outer space the place to be tonight, Tuesday, September 30th, 2025. Yes, Space Cadets, it's the end of another month. That time, it do fly indeed. And yet, here we are, streaming stuff when September ends. I'm Vector Spaceman. Guess what? This is the Vector Spaceman Show. Welcome back to the program, everyone, and hey, if it's your first time tuning in tonight, welcome aboard. It's the last show before our expected month-long self-development period of reflection and improvement and what have you that we tend to do every year. We'll show off a bit of our ideas, we'll chit-chat about this or that, maybe do some minor game dev prep, who knows. It's a very relaxed, laid-back kind of stream. Stick around for a quaint little evening of space mannerisms with your old pal Vector. Now, if you missed the last show, we had aspirations of doing a Godot stream, and yet, somehow, like so often it seems, we just managed to get sidetracked talking about this and that and other stuff, and not that we mind a good chit-chat session, of course, mind you, it's kind of our favorite thing to do. Who doesn't love a good yap, you know? Will we manage to stick to the plan tonight? I don't know. I guess we'll just have to stick around to find out, right? So if you want to stay up to date with all of our broadcasts so that you never ever miss a show, here's what you can do. You can follow Vector Spaceman on YouTube, Blue Sky, and of course, right here on Twitch. Mighty fine Tuesday. Hope everybody's doing well. A bit of a pre-warning that the stream may go down at some point. We've been having awful, just disastrous connection issues over the past couple of days here. So if we should disconnect ever so briefly, know that we will try our best to be back. I know, I'm worried about it too. It was the worst thing too, because it started happening over the past couple of days when I was really getting into watching a whole bunch of series and movies and what have you that I've... Oh dear, I need to cough. Hold on a second. Excuse me, I got some junk in my throat. But just as I was getting into a bunch of films, a bunch of cinema, a bunch of stuff that I had been putting off and finally got around to seeing, and so I was caught buffering, caught lagging, caught... Stream froze right as you were saying that. Well, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I mean. We persist, though. We try our best. Oh yeah, I can see that took a big hit. Okay, as I was saying, stream's been kind of finicky as of late. Or sorry, not stream in general, but just the webs. We're talking space webs. Anybody who was here, I'd say maybe the first or second year that we started doing streaming, there was a period where yeah, we could not go a single stream without outages, without drop frames, without disconnections. It was rough. I thought we had gotten it all figured out, sorted out. You know what it is? You know what it probably is? It's just the season, man. Everybody's back inside. The weather's changing. People spending more time indoors, on their phones, on their PCs, eating up all that good web. Not leaving enough for Spaceman to do silly streams like this. You gotta think about your local spaceman and what he needs, you know? Share the wealth. Share the webs. Fingers crossed, though, that, listen, if we had our little stutter there already, fingers crossed we're going to be good for the rest of the night. You know. Anyways, Jamline, how have you been doing? Good to see ya. Happy Tuesday. Hope things are well. Thanks for tuning in. We love seeing Space Cadets right off the bat, as we're doing our little monologue, or little spiel. So here's the deal. Every year, we take a little break in October times to work on a big, extravagant Halloween special. You know? The Spaceman and Friends Halloween special. We rope in dozens of actors and who knows how many background characters. We put on a great big show. This year's going to be different. This year, we do not have... Oh, my goodness gracious! Suge Pooj, how we doing? Weezmallow raids, thanks for raiding in, you guys. MB, how you doing? Good to see ya. Hope everybody's having a fine Tuesday. We're just getting the evening started off well. I'm glad to see ya. Happy Tuesday. Hello, hello. Hope you guys are doing well. What have you been up to tonight? Our latest and greatest Space Cadets, look at this. Great to see you. What were you guys up to tonight, huh? You having some fun? You doing your best? You living out your dreams? We're streaming stuff as September ends. It's another month down the drain. But hey, you know what that means? Tomorrow it's official spooky season, you guys. Is everybody a big Halloween fan? Whether you're just in it for the discount candy come November 1st, or whether you're a big costume aficionado, or you really like the aesthetic, or just the seasonal change, you know? There's something for everybody. Gonna play a crappy GameCube game, but we lost the save, switched to Risk of Rain. Man. There's just something about old crappy GameCube games. We did a little, what do you call it? It was an emulated copy of this, I can't even remember the name of it now. It was a Nicktoons something or another. Like 4-player brawler type game that friend of the show Space Buffoon had me jump in on maybe a couple weeks back. But we could just not get that piece of trash to work, unfortunately. Kept freezing up on us, kept hanging up on us, and trying to coordinate, you know, multiplayer across an emulated GameCube game from way back in the day, across like different countries and different time zones. Nicktoons Unite, that might have been it. 4 players, everybody's a different little character. I usually celebrate September with terrible games. Dub it Putin. Alright, hold on. Hold on. Looks like we may be back. Mago the Stego, how are you doing, friend? How are you doing, Dino friend? It looks like that means we're back up and running then. We're back in business. Oh. And yet, it looks like we might have just disconnected again. MB, you might have spoken a little too soon. We do gotta call those goofs, though. Alright, roll call, y'all. Sound off. Sound off if you can hear a spaceman. Are we back at it? Are we back at it again at Harbor Station? Doing backflips at the Krispy Kreme? We love roll call, y'all. Sound off. Sound off if you can hear us. I said sound off, cadets. Arc flash, I'm a little chunk. Oh, son of a gun. Why is it double posting what I'm saying? Okay. We're a little chunky. Yes. Are you reading us? Are we smooth? Are we grooving? Are we thriving? Are we jiving? See, here's the dealio, yo. At the top of the stream, I was saying, okay, just so you guys know, we might have a little connection issue here tonight, because the past couple of days have been rough. In terms of internet outages in the PM. And it looks like that has absolutely come true. Art, good to see you. Happy Tuesday. Use guys, sound off if you can hear the Spaceman here. We're having a little technical difficulty. I want to get a litmus. Audio appears to be fine. Voice is a bit in and out. Well, son of a gun. You can hear me? Okay, Meg, that's good to know. Can you hear me well, though? Okay, we're getting bots. Awesome. That's how, I've always said, that's how you know you've made it as a streamer. When somebody's out there trying to sell you views. When you're worth the bot's time, you know? Alright, fingers crossed, everybody. Let's all send Spaceman your energy here. Alright? So that we don't have any further outages. Send Spaceman your energy. We'll spirit bomb this bad boy. Roger's having issues? I don't know what it is. First of all, the audacity to assume that just because we're Canadian, that just because we have like a total of 2 major telecom providers in this country, that we could try to make guesses about who we're paying for webs up here. Immaterially, space cadets, viewers, friends, comrades, companions, this is an outrage. I'm outraged. It's outrageous. The sheer frequency by which we have been down in the past, like, 10 minutes. We're breaking new ground right here. We're actually setting brand new records. What is that? Has anybody been keeping track? I feel like that's at least 4 outages. Let's start keeping track. Let's go into the station overlay. And let's make ourselves a new counter, shall we? We'll make ourselves a little text box here. And we'll call it outage counter. And we'll set it at 4 right now. And we'll scale that appropriately. And you know what? We should be cheeky about it. Outrage counter. There we are. Yes, we'll out our rage, Arc. And that should do it for the moment. Excellent. On the plus side, if we're lucky, we might have just front-loaded our entire connection issues for the next year. Just get them all done in one stream, and then we don't have to worry about it anymore. You know? That's how it works, right? So glad to see everybody here in what is supposed to be our last little stream before our big Halloween hiatus, if you will. So I believe I was trying to explain how this usually works before we got, web sniped. So let's start again from the top. Here's the dealio. Every year for the past almost 4 years that we've been doing this, every October, we'll take a big long break because usually we're hard at work on our animated Halloween special that we do every year. Everybody loves the Vector Spaceman and Friends Halloween special. In fact, you can find them over on the YouTube page. They're so much fun. We put so much work into them. Why didn't that link work here? You can find it on the follow message. That also didn't work. It's probably because we need to restart, mix it up. Let's try that. Live scuff on the Vector Spaceman show. Let's try it now. Bam, there it is. Go check out those videos. Anyways, the point I was trying to make is that they're so in-depth and so technically demanding, and I tend to do most of the work myself, which means it usually eats up my whole October, which is why we usually take a break. We come back around the beginning of November. We show off the new Halloween special. It's always a good time. It's always grand. This year, however, we're not actually doing a big Halloween special. I'll get ahead of it right now and say it. Outright, we're just not doing one. Our casting is a little different. We don't have as much time as we would like. We're not going to be able to pull it off. And also, it's just a big strain. It's quite demanding on all of our participants and even on the Spaceman. Even though I do enjoy doing them, it is quite a challenge. So instead, this year, we're going to try to do something a little different. We're going to take our regular October break, yes, and we're going to try to come back with something fresh and exciting, yes, but it's just not going to be an animated piece. What could it be? That's a great question. Something hip with the times, yes. How do you do, fellow streamers? With the skibbity, perhaps even with a little, modern skibbity riz. The Rizma, as the kids would say these days, as the youth. Not to differentiate myself. Spaceman, Vector Spaceman is still, quite young and spry. Let's not forget. Don't believe the haters. I hope you're not selling, Mr. Vector Spaceman. No. We would never sell. We would never sell, Meg. We would never sell or tilt or freaking int or throw or any of these novel and completely familiar terms. But we do have a little project that we want to do, so that's good. And it's sort of like a special, so it'll be fun to release that when it gets done. And that's what we're going to be working on in October, as well as taking some personal development time. Some personal improvement time for the stream. It's what we need right now. But that means far fewer streams, even compared to the once a week schedule that we've been maintaining for a while now. So unless the Nova Swarm drops their new visual novel, which I think they were trying to put together for the Spooktober Game Jam, which, if I'm not mistaken, the final submission date for was today, so probably within the next week or so they'll be releasing that, at which point I'll probably want to do a stream where I get to play that. But apart from that, nothing really scheduled for the immediate future. If we find something to do, yeah, we'll do a little stream here and there, but you can expect Spaceman to come back at least around the beginning of November. November 1st, of course, is going to be the 4-year streamiversary of the Vector Spaceman show. That was the day we got started, back in 2021. Almost 4 years ago now. Wow. The only kids lingo I know is selling from work, and it's just a rebrand of throwing, yeah. Well, this is why you need, someone youthful and modern and hip, like myself, to, what's the word? Like, translate, interpret these things. These important cultural touchstones. How lucky you are, Meg, to have a friend like Spaceman. Now, we heard from Emby and Soojpooch. Anybody else got October or Halloween traditions that you're eager to get into? Tomorrow's the big day. It's spooky season. I've actually been watching a bunch of horror films that have been recommended to me. It's not my genre of choice. Started watching... Here's sort of the trajectory that got me into it recently. There's a film that came out. You're gonna go see Rocky Horror? Nice, Ark. That's kind of a classic. Is it one of these, is it one of the like audience participation, like sing-along ones? Those ones are great, right? Every year? Nice. Yeah, I know there's theaters around here that do the same sort of thing where it's like the shout out. Oh, you're going to the stage performance? Heck yeah. Already have our stock of full-size candy bars for the kid. You want to be the best house on the block, Meg? That's what you're trying to do? You're trying to be the ones that the kids come back to year after year. You want to be the real G's on Halloween. You want to be the legends. Spaceman, do you like The Thing 1982? I actually do like The Thing 1982. It's actually a really, really good movie. And we were talking about this a little bit last week. It's like, what is the dividing line? The like delineation. What constitutes a horror movie versus what constitutes like a psychological thriller or something like that, right? There's like a lot of overlap within the Venn diagram of those genres. No, fear not, Meg. The Thing rules. The Thing rocks. And The Thing's probably a horror film, isn't it? And it falls into that space where it's like, okay, well, if The Thing's a horror film, is Alien a horror film? Is something like Signs a horror film where they're like just kind of creepy, I don't know. Here's the thing. This is what I'm talking about, Meg. Like, I remember watching Alien, OG Alien, when I was a kid. Not when it came out, obviously, because I'm not 60. But I'm talking, I was shown that film as a youth. And then I got really into the Alien series. So it was like week after week, I was watching like Aliens, Alien 3, Alien 4, the AVP stuff. All that stuff. I got really into it. But it never struck me as, like, it was like, oh, there's jump scares and stuff like that. But I just never watched horror films, so I could never really put a finger on like what constitutes a horror film. Sorry, my bad. I didn't I didn't know exactly when it came out. I'm not trying to be mean to anybody, you know, who might have seen it in theaters. You could argue Alien is a horror film, but Aliens is a thriller. See, this is where we've got the issue. Like, what constitutes what? And then I start thinking about, okay, here's the thing. If you look up, and I'm going to look it up right now just to confirm. Let's look at Silence of the Lambs. Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter film, right? Silence of the Lambs is a 1991 American psychological horror thriller film. What constitutes a horror film? The man is creepy, yes. And the subject matter is, you know, unsettling. If you asked me to define what a horror film was, I literally think that I could not do it. Because it casts such a wide net. Maybe just made it a psychological thriller. That would be my instinct as well. But then I would second guess myself. I wouldn't know anymore. But here's what got me onto this recently. Horror films have to give you the heebie-jeebies. Listen, I think that the subject matter of Silence of the Lambs could definitely give some people the heebie-jeebies. So it's hard to fault them for a definition like that. Horror needs a supernatural element? See, I don't know if we can say that, Meg. Because if we say that, now welcome to movie court. Because if we say that, then we can't classify Alien or The Thing as horror films anymore, can we? Because these are pieces of science fiction. Unless we're willing to extend aliens are supernatural. Aliens aren't supernatural, Meg. Aliens are conceptual. They're still just, you know. The Thing is 100% body horror, I'll give you that. The grossness constitutes the horror? I wonder. Because I feel like you can have a horror film without blood and guts and stuff. You must be able to, right? Like the Saw movies. I never did see Saw. And that's a funny thing to say. But I never did see any of the Saw films, but I know of them like in terms of like pop culture, like You Can't Escape, stuff like that, right? Those are horror films, absolutely. But it's not just because they're full of blood and guts and stuff. It's because they're about people being trapped in terrible circumstances and situations. Right? The horror therein is derived from imagining that scenario. From, you know, sympathizing. The first Saw is a horror film. I think the rest is slasher. Well, now I'm even more confused. Slasher films aren't horror films? Or are slasher films a subsection of horror films? Or maybe you can have a slasher film that's not horrific whatsoever. I'll bet if you were really enterprising... Oh. Hold the fort. Are we back? Are we good? Oh, it's a little iffy. It's giving a little iffy. It's giving shenanigans. Sound off, chat. We're back? We're good? Okay. Let's take a moment. Let's ensure that we're back. Let's salute our hardworking webs as we update the outage counter and return to our regularly scheduled debate. Does it seem like chat is delayed? Oh, hold on. You guys! Blind Nostalgia and friends, can you hear me? First of all, excellent question. Can you hear us? We're having so many outages tonight. Bear with us. We're always coming back. It is being fixed. Seijiro, nice to see you. Thank you for those Doritos. We appreciate you. Blind Nostalgia, what you been up to tonight? I'm gonna give you a little shout out. Little shout out for the broccoli friend. Definitely check out Blind Nostalgia if you can. They do cool stuff. They show up in the specials every now and then. Oh, hold on. Looks like we're disconnecting. Oh, maybe we avoided it. Huh. Here's the deal. Our webs have been up and down all night. What have you been up to tonight, Nostalgia? It's good to see you. Hope you're having a fine Tuesday. You're just in time for the debate. We're talking about what is and isn't horror. Tomorrow, it's October. It's spooky season. I've been watching horror films lately. We're trying to get to the bottom of what constitutes a horror film. Played an old Xbox 360 game called, yo, I know Prototype, where, shoot, maybe I'm thinking of the wrong one. Prototypes where you're like a goo man. You've got black parasites and stuff in you, right? And they give you abilities. And you run around town causing mischief. Is that the one I'm thinking of? What side am I on? Here's the thing, I'm not necessarily on a side. I've not engaged with horror films a whole lot. I'm very new to the genre. And so I've been trying to nail down what the heck is a horror film versus what is just like a thriller. We're having some difficulty. We're having some collective difficulty here, but I feel like we're clever, creative people, and we can probably get to the bottom of this. Oh. And I think we just had another outage. Sound off if you can hear me, chat. We're gonna update the outage counter. There we go. There we go again. Sounding off. Thank you, Jamline. You guys, just to promote it again, do you guys know that Blind Nostalgia's been in so many of the skits and specials as a dedicated background extra? And did you guys know that you can find these animated skits and specials over on the YouTube page? Wow. I think thrillers are more fast-paced and have more action or excitement. Well, that's in the name. That checks out. That makes sense. I'm willing to concede that point. While horror relies more on suspense. Oh, definitely watch the specials. You would be missing out. Here's the thing. This year, we're not going to have a special. I've already laid that out, completely transparently. It's a matter of casting. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of unfortunate circumstances. But we are going to try to put together a little something fun for the end of October. We're still going to be taking our usual break so that we can come back with something cool. Look forward to it. You know what they do? They do take a minute to make, and that's usually why we're off for the entire month of October. Because we literally have to be. It's non-stop work. Now, I'm interested in a point that was made by Jamline a second ago, which is that slasher is a subgenre of horror. Also, thank you for the stretch and hydrate, everybody. Let's all take a moment. Oh my goodness! What's good, kitty cat? Rumble is in my chat. Oh, hold on. I think we're getting disconnected again. Hold on. Howdy, howdy, Raiders. Nope, looks like we're good. All right, we didn't go down again. More shout-outs for friends of the show. Shout out to Rumble. Rumble is another self-produced independent virtual streamer / geographic neighbor / friend of the Vector Spaceman show. Definitely check them out. Super cool artiste. Aspiring game dev. Occasional streamer. You gotta support local independent VTubers, you guys. Who else is gonna? Rumble, you're just in time for serious conversations with Spaceman and the Space Cadets. We're trying to get to the bottom of important definitions vis-a-vis spooky times. Tomorrow is October. You know what this means. It's time for seasonal films and activities and what have you. Spaceman's been watching some horror films recently, which is not my genre. You might even recall. It is not, not what I'm into. I get startled easily. But I've been put on a few titles lately. I'm starting to enjoy some of what I've been seeing, and we're trying to figure out what exactly is. Also, how you doing, Karen? Good to see you. Welcome to the show. Happy Tuesday. I know, I'm not a big horror person myself. And we're trying to figure out what is or isn't horror. Oh. Did we disconnect again? Are we here? Sound off, chat. Let me know we didn't die. Looks like we might be back. The question of the day. I hear ya? Excellent. The question of the day, the question du jour, if you will. We love roll call, thank you, Blind. Is what constitutes a horror film? How do we even define it? And there's so many genres and subgenres. This is what we were talking about. Jamline just a second ago was trying to defend the slasher as a subgenre of horror. Now, mind you, could you do a slasher that isn't horrific? I'm willing to say yes. I'm willing to say you could do a comedic slasher if you were enterprising enough. I'm willing to say you could do a... I'm sure you can take it different directions. Here's how I got onto this whole thing, though. I was watching a film recently. It's called Weapons. Dark comedy. Yeah, exactly. You could definitely do a funny slasher. Comedy horror? Yeah. Like, that's how you get stuff like... I don't know, would you call, like... Zombieland? Like, those movies? Like a horror film, like a comedy horror or something like that. I remember seeing a Japanese film a couple years ago called, I think it was One Take of the Dead or One Shot of the Dead. Which I seem to recall having some good laughs in it. You can definitely do funny horror. Shaun of the Dead, another perfect example, I suppose. Yeah. Yeah, great point, Ark. Gore is what you consider horror, Karen. Okay, so this is what I was bringing up a little while ago when we were discussing Saw, the Saw films, right? Saw's a horror film, but I don't think Saw's a horror film just because it's full of blood and guts and stuff, you know? Slasher could fall into thriller probably depending on how it's made. I think it mainly depends on the tone of the film. The tone, the intent. Goodness. So we've got even more to take into consideration. Ah, Dale and Tucker versus Evil. So we actually watched that during a movie night. Maybe 3 or 4 months ago, something like that. It was back during the summer, I believe. And yeah, that's a comedy of errors, really. Which just transitions into horror, right? When you move into thriller territory, it gets fuzzy. And I think most of what I have enjoyed from what I've seen lately, vis-a-vis horror, is thriller stuff. I'm also not one who's here for, like, you know, the eviscerations and the guts and gore and stuff like that. I'm here for the conceptual horror, you know? I'm here for the thrills. I'm here for the suspense, the intensity. That's what's been getting me. So last, maybe 2 weeks ago or so, I watched a film called Weapons. Weapons just came out recently. It is, I would say it is a horror film, but again, it's one of those that is kind of like on the periphery of a horror film. But the director of Weapons, and I'd recommend checking it out because it's very well done, kept me hooked, kept me engaged the whole time. It's great. The director of Weapons is a man by the name of something Kreger. It is Zach Kreger. And Zach Kreger was a member of the Whitest Kids You Know comedy troupe back in the day. I just figured out that connection. And they used to have their own show. They got a lot of exposure during like early YouTube and stuff like that. Some great skits. So I started looking up his other filmography and stuff like that. First of all, we love to see somebody who gets started doing like skit work and YouTube stuff move on to do whole movies and things like that. That's fantastic. That's aspirational. So I found out that Zach Kreger also directed a film called Barbarian. And this is another horror film. And this is without a doubt a horror film. And it's so good. It's so good. I can do nothing but recommend that one. But it's not horror, again, it's not horror in the sense of you're being shown, you know, nothing but nonstop violence and things like that. It's a creeping horror. It's a horror at the edges of your eyes. It's horror around the corner. Out of sight, but never out of mind, you know? I think the fear itself pushes OG Saw into horror. I feel like it's you're sympathizing with the people who are stuck in these awful situations, right? And you're thinking, oh geez, I sure wouldn't want to be stuck in, you know, these terrible circumstances. the horror comes from having to imagine it, right? It's the empathy, it's the sympathy. Like you don't see the reverse bear trap work, but you're scared of what it could do. The heck is a reverse bear trap? I also did not see Saw. I'm just aware of Saw via, you know, cultural exposure. Or if I did see Saw, I feel like it wasn't the first one. But anywho, I get watching some of these films, people start putting me onto other ones. They're saying, Spaceman, you gotta watch Hereditary. I was like, all right, I'll go watch Hereditary. I found that one to be underwhelming, if anybody has seen that one. I found that one to be underwhelming in the sense of it just turns out to be supernatural shenanigans. That's what I don't love. You know, I think a horror movie is better when it's more grounded. When there's some, and I guess Saw is a good example of that, where it's like, okay, this is, you know, dramatic and terrible and what have you, but it's something that could happen. Versus, you know, a horror film where it turns out that it's, you know, it's demons, or it's a witch, or it's zombies, or something like that. Not that those can't be good movies, but I just find it a little disappointing when that turns out to be the big reveal. This has been Spaceman ranting. So anyways, I saw that one, then I saw A Quiet Place. That one was also a little... It's like, all right, you're trying to be, I see what you're doing. Good job, you know, filling up the space with just action and not a whole lot of dialogue, but I think the A24 film preview is Midsommar. So I have seen Midsommar. And Midsommar is, yeah, Midsommar was fine. Midsommar was pretty good. I actually watched that maybe a year or two ago. Trying to think now. And you know what? Yeah, that's a perfect example. It's also a perfect example of, all right, where's the line of horror again? It's nebulous. I don't know if I'll ever find a good... I would never be able to... Here's the thing. I would never be able to explain what constitutes a horror movie. It's just too broad. At the same time, though, I wouldn't be able to tell you what constitutes a drama film in the same way. You know? Some of these terms are just too nebulous. Too encompassing. Sometimes you just throwing adjectives at it. 28 Days Later is an excellent zombie movie, though I can't decide if it's horror or thriller. 28 Days Later is a very 2000s film. It's shot in that early digital. It reminds me of a lot of... You know what's weird? It reminds me of certain... overseas, like... TV series, live-action TV series that I had seen around the same time. Just the digital grading. Spaceman on a tangent. I think it depends on whether the movie is scary and what the tone of it is, but it's truly subjective. What a shame, right? I guess it just goes to show you that horror can be for everybody, for anybody. Adds to the grittiness. It certainly gives it a something. Certainly gives it a look. A timeliness. A dirty 2000s Britishness. I will give it that. Grit is entirely the right word, given how static it can look. The guy gets Blood Eagle. Are you sure it's not horror? So this is my problem again. Is that I'm not particularly turned off by that because, you know, I had seen Vikings a decade before or whatever. It's like, oh, I see what they're doing. I remember this. They're doing the thing where they pull his lungs out. Here's the thing. I've told this story on the show before. And we actually got some great trivia out of it vis-a-vis one of our usual chatters. I don't know if they're still here, but if they are, we'll get them to tell the story again. But here's the thing. The year is, I don't know, mid-2000s, something like that. Spaceman's watching a film with his Vector Space Dad. The film is called When We Were Soldiers. It's a film about the Korean War. It's like a Mel Gibson movie. There's a scene in that film where Americans accidentally end up napalming some of their own guys. You know, friendly fire, it sucks. And there's a scene where they're trying to carry away one of the wounded American soldiers. They pick him up by his burnt legs, and literally all the meat on his legs and skin just sloughs right off. And this left such an impression upon a young Vector space boy. I was startled. I was shocked. I was fixated. And I turned to my Vector Space Dad, and he says to me, "Isn't that cool how they did that?" You know, with like the makeup and prosthetics and stuff like that? Isn't it cool how they can make those effects? And I start thinking to myself, yeah, that is kind of cool now that you think about it. That's right, it is all fake. You know, that's right, none of that is real. That is all some Hollywood movie magic. You're absolutely right. And when you start thinking about that, like, that's the thing. Since then, I have never been like struck by body horror or like gore and stuff like that. Because I've never been convinced of it. At the back of my mind, I'm always like, oh yeah, that's movie stuff. At the same time, some of that has even transitioned into, you know, being able to watch stuff that I know is real. Like, like me and a few of my buddies, my good, you know, space chums, we used to love watching like the Jackass films, if you guys remember those. And there's some stunts that they do in those movies where they're like giving themselves paper cuts through the webbing of their fingers and things like that. Where if you were to line us up going down the line, you'd get like a whole gradient of human experience from like shock and disgust all the way to Vector Spaceman down at the far end, just smiling, just enthused, just watching it all happen, loving it. Space Dad me though. Same sort of young exposure, right? And now, yeah, so now I see Something like Midsommar. Guy's getting hung up by his own lungs and guts and what have you, and it's like, all right, yeah. What else have you got? Been here before. Seen it. Also, how you doing, Rig? Yeah, like deboning a chicken wing. That is not a bad description of what it was like. It's a gnarly scene. I wonder if we could pull it up. Oh, snap! Thanks for the Knuckles redeem, Blind. Okay. Y'all ready for this? Let's all take a moment. Let's let the air out here. All right. Here we go. Fingers. Ah, that's good stuff. Here come the tips. Just the tips. Ah, that's good cracking. All right, I got some thumbs for you. Pap, pap, just like that. All right, here's the big one, and we'll turn down the station music for you, Blind. Mighty crunchy, right? Want to make sure that that we haven't lost connection. All right, here's the pièce de résistance. This is the elbows. Here it comes. Left side. Oh, strong side. That one was a little weak. Thanks for that, Blind. Let's not forget, Vector Spaceman is still a young, spry spaceman. Don't believe the haters. Got to watch Nope recently. Nope's a good movie. Nope's... Again, it's one of those ones where it'd be like, it's thrilling. Is it horror? I don't know. And the thing that really got me was contemplating what the characters were going through. A little too hard. A little too hard. 3 crunches per elbow? Was it really 3 crunches per elbow? Hold on. The thing about the elbow crunches is they're not air dependent. They don't need to be built up. I can do it pretty consistently. Let me try again. It's because we're rotating the arm across the elbow. I never counted it off though. That's good trivia, Blind. Now we believe it. You're like maybe 21. That's what I'm talking about, Blind. Good guess. Mighty good guess. 3 bones to an elbow. Thanks for the anatomy lesson, Rig. Rig, I also have a question for you. I'm going to bring it up in a couple minutes because, you guys, we got to go over to the desk. We got to run an ad. We've been putting it off for far too long and we used up all of our snoozes. So unfortunately, we have to run ads. But when we come back, I'm going to tell you about some more movies. Maybe I'll show you that We Were Soldiers clip so you guys know what I'm talking about. Go get yourselves a drink or a snack. We return right after this. The Vector Spaceman Show will be back. And if you just so happen to be a subscriber or just super lucky, then you get to hang out with me for a couple minutes. Wow. Or we're going to get another disconnect. That was definitely a disconnect, wasn't it? On a scale of camp to 100% real, how realistic is this gore clip? 100% real. Like, not only does it look gnarly, not only did it inspire fright in a young spaceman, it was probably based on a real guy. Which maybe you've got a good point, Jam. Maybe we shouldn't be showing it on stream. Even though it's just a movie, and even though no American servicemen were actually harmed in the making of this film, it is still pretty grody. Only problem is I'm having a tough time trying to find a clip of it. Oh dear, I may be closing my eyes. Oh man. Those YouTube regulations probably make it rough. You might be right. You might be right. Okay, hold on, hold on. I think I might have found something here. Oh, yeah. Ah, this sucks, though. All right. I don't know if I can find another version. Oh, looks like we're back. Okay, hold on. Back to the station. Here we are. Fantastic. Good to see y'all. Sound off if you're still here, chat. I think we gotta update our disconnection counter, because I think we definitely went down for a minute when we were on break. Okay, so here's I was able to find a clip of the We Were Soldiers scene where the dude's leg meat sloughs off, but it's only in 360p, so it sucks. You can't really see it. Still vibing? We still here? Awesome. Which maybe the fact that we can only kind of see it will help us when it comes to, you know, not getting YouTube copyright struck. Let me see here. That's perfect for stream. Yeah, that's perfect, you know? That even works out better for us. It's basically censored. All right, here's what I'm gonna do then. I'm gonna switch the audio to our karaoke audio so it doesn't get put on the review. So if anybody wants to see this clip after the fact, just go look it up yourselves. That's what I'm talking about, Blind. That's what we mean. All right, check it out. Let's go over to the gaming screen, huh? Where we would usually be doing other stuff. And let's pull this up. Okay, so I just fast forwarded it to the part after buddies get themselves napalmed. Put it on the laptop so we can watch over your show. You want to see it on the laptop? Yeah, we could do that. We could do that. Make it even smaller. Make it even harder to see. All right, here we are. And you get to see my stupid reflective face in the background. I don't know if you guys can still make out what's happening. That's the only thing, because the scene looks kind of dark. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. We can make this work. There, we'll just get rid of that part. Okay. You can still see my head over here, like we're doing a strong bad email. All right. Okay, so what's his name? Sniper from Saving Private Ryan. Shoot, I keep forgetting this actor's name. Anyways, he and his buddy are trying to help up fella who just got naped, just like watching YouTube videos in middle school at a friend's basement. That's what we strive toward, Rig. Listen. If I've said it before, I've said it 1,000 times. The Vector Spaceman show only exists to emulate that experience. Life is just a series of excellent conversations in fabulous basements. All right, so here he is. Buddy's on the ground. He's all burnt up. He's having a bad time. Oh, yeah, look. He's roasted. You gotta give him the morphine. Grabbing his legs. Here it comes. Just slipping off. You just got leg meat all over your hands. Anywho's. That was the scene that you know, altered young spaceman's brain chemistry. Oh, it looks like we had a mild outage again. Haha, gross. Thanks, Rumble. Haha, gross. Yeah, but just imagine you're a young, impressionable Vector Space Boy. And there's... Ugh. Just the sound effects made me queasy. So, and here's the thing. There's I've seen that film played on TV in years since. And they don't show that scene. So clearly it's too much for the tastes of some viewers. Smart to cut like that to the legs, or dude would be half bared. If you were trying to do like a full body shot of it, yeah, because you'd have to, right? You'd have to have fake legs. But yeah, you do that nice, gross, juicy close-up. Get the focus on it. Cut to the guy's face with his buddy's leg meat smeared all over his hands. It's gross. It's alarming. It's shocking. It's a lot. And yeah, after that it was like, okay, well, I guess nothing's gonna freak me out anymore. Rig, I had wanted to ask you a question. But the stream keeps crashing. We're just gonna bump that up. We're just gonna bump that up to a cool 9 outages now. Awesome. I'm sure when you're watching and invested, it's much worse. Yeah, well, yeah, because that character who got napalmed, he's like a happy-go-lucky guy. You get introduced to him earlier. He's just got a newborn. It sucks, right? You get invested. After watching it, it's more of a saucy rib coming off the bone. I love how all of your analogies tonight have been, you know, have been food stuff, Rig. This is very, very intimate. Definitely showing up in my nightmares at some point. I don't think I've ever had a body horror nightmare that I can think of. I don't know. I remember when I was growing up. You know what? Here's a question. Is the Brendan Fraser Mummy movie a horror film? Or is that just like action adventure? I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look up what Wikipedia say. Action-adventure film. And yet, The Mummy is a 1999 American action-adventure film. The Mummy is classified as horror, you think? Maybe like the OG Mummy? Because it was like one of those Universal monster movies, right? Dead Meat did a kill count video on it. Oh, well, I guess it's official then. Because here's the thing. The only horror type stuff that I've ever like had like nightmares about have been having to do with mummies. There's just something about mummies. They're gross. They're rickety. They shouldn't be walking around. They're an affront to decency. Let's be honest. Stay in the ground, where you belong, in the distant sands, and not, you know, terrorizing a young spaceman. There is a fair amount of body horror. There's a lot of like early CG, like, oh, and then when you think about like the buried alive stuff. Yeah, but I definitely remember as a wee little vector space boy being besieged with nightmares of being pursued by mummies. Reanimated corpses. Not just zombies, mind you. Not just the living dead, specifically Egyptian mummies. And I'm pretty sure it had something to do with that movie. The scarab stuff, so specifically, like when Buddy gets buried alive in the sarcophagus and they dump scarabs on him, whatever, you know, go to town, eat your fill, that's fine. But when, you know, background extra number 3 or whatever starts getting those scarabs under his skin and it starts crawling around, that sucks. That got me. I don't like the idea of that at all. No, thank you. Bugs can stay on the outside of my skin. I do not want them on the inside. I don't even like them on the outside, but you know what? If I had to choose one, that's where they're going to stay. Easy choice. That stuff gave you nightmares. Rig, I had wanted to ask you, if you're still around, sound off. Before we got to the break, I wanted to ask you if we can expect a Nova Swarm visual novel in the near future. Because we're about to start our October, like, hiatus, where we get to work on our big projects and do self-improvement and professional development and what have you, as we usually do this time of year. But I'm definitely gonna take time to do some streaming if you guys are releasing your Spooktober visual novel in the near future. A demo, yes, not a full game yet. Aw, shucks. Aw, shoot. Well, whenever that drops, maybe we'll hold out for the full game. Whenever that drops, we'll be back to check that out. Faux show. Most definitely. Because I know you guys were saying that it's all tied into your fantasy rebranded theming this time, which is great. We played there first, and you know what? For anybody who's not familiar, big shout out to the Nova Swarm, a trio of self-produced virtual streamers, longtime friends of the show, Rig, Ellie, and Lyra. Longtime participants in the skits and specials, frequent collaborators, all around cool people. almost entirely fellow Canadians. Don't we love that? I feel like I was on a tangent. And yet here we are. Showed off that scene, got started talking about mummies. How did we get here? Because we're talking about horror films. That's what it was. Yeah, and the only horror series that I've ever been into. And there's contention about this because just like I think Blind and Jamline were talking about earlier, it's like, all right, well, at what point did the horror become thrills instead? Because I really enjoyed the Alien series growing up. Alien, Aliens, Alienses, Alien 4, the AVP stuff even. Like, I'll still watch that stuff. Even the bad stuff, even like the Prometheus stuff, even that show that was out this year, Alien Earth. Terrible. But I'll still watch it. Because who doesn't love a good alien running around, causing mischief? Just causing space mischief. But you might be right that the first one is only the one is the only one that's really like horror. That the rest are more like action romps. Hard to say. Hard to tell. Whippets and suits, yo, for Alien 3? They didn't, though. Like, they didn't actually, right? That was like a behind-the-scenes thing, right? That was like the original plan, was to put dogs in suits. They didn't actually do that, though, right? I could have swore like they were just all CG in Alien 3. See, I don't know why they don't go back to that concept. We rarely see aliens mixed with, in that series, we rarely see the xenomorph born of non-humans. Like we see it born of dogs in Alien 3. We see it born of predators at like the end of one of the AVPs. Let him loose in a zoo or something, you know? Somebody get me on the phone with whoever's got the rights to the Alien franchise. Drop some face huggers in a zoo. I want to see an alien that pops out of a tiger. What does that look like? I want to see an alien that pops out of a rhino. What does that look like? Show me some apex predators mixed with galactic, non-stop eating machines. Jurassic Park, but it's all xenomorphs. Yeah, exactly. Life finds a way, right? Why you gotta give me nightmare fuel like that? Welcome, Ghost! Ghost, actually, you were the one. I'm pretty sure. We just got talking about spooky scenes, scary stuff. Xenomorph tiger, this is what I'm talking about, Rig. The tiger, it's out of the cage. Yes! Ghost, I was showing off a clip from We Were Soldiers, where the guy gets naped and his legs slough off. You were telling me on this stream, I'm pretty sure, that you were an extra? Or you were near the filming site for that movie, right? Yeah, I was sure I remembered that right. Nothing worse than a tiger that can climb walls and ceilings, right? And probably swim. I mean, tigers can swim, but Probably more sleekly, because it got that long tail. I mean, tigers have long tails, but you know what I mean. Oh, you was gonna be one. That's what it was. You had some connection to the site. I remembered that. Didn't want to cut your hair. That was it. Listen, we can understand that. Don't believe the lies. Don't believe the hype. That Vector Spaceman is just bald under the helmet. We understand the desire to hold on to your luscious locks. Sometimes it's just not worth it to be, extra number 37. Though to be fair, you could have been the guy who got napalmed, Ghost. You never know. You could have been part of cinematic history. You could have been the one who gave a young Vector Space Boy such chills. We're talking about horror films and cinema in general tonight, Ghost. Hope you're having a fine Tuesday. Hope things are going well. Hope you're killing it. Hope you're chilling. Tomorrow's October. You got any spooky time, how you say, traditions? We got people who are already lined up to go see Rocky Horror Picture this month. We got people who I know are going to be watching stuff like The Thing. I like to sneak in an afternoon where I get to revisit Over the Garden Wall. That is a good series. That is a mighty fine, concise, short little series. Nice animated little piece. Very charming. That's always a nice October time viewing. In hindsight, should have just done it. Filmmaking is just so cool. What's better than to be part of the movies, Big chillin', got a quesadilla and some tacos. Nice. Over the Garden Wall is so good. It's so good. There's maybe 1 or 2 episodes that are kind of stinkers, but that's fine because you can watch the whole thing in an afternoon. It's real short. Short and sweet and complete. That's what we like about it. It's once and done. Nothing left to wrap up. No cliffhangers, nothing like that. No season 2. It's all done. That's what we like about a good series. My favorite series of the summer just finished up, City the Animation. It's like a companion piece to Nichijou from years past. That was a nice little watch to see every week. I think the whole series is only an hour and a half long. Yeah, it's real quick. It's basically a movie. Yeah, it's basically a movie. Trying to think of other series that are like that, where they're episodes that are 15, 20 minutes. And you can just power through them. Oh, so last night, and this was another one that was recommended to me. I finally got around to watching, and this is going to deviate from our horror discussion ever so slightly. Last night got around to watching K-pop Demon Hunters, which was better than I expected. There were some parts that were underwhelming, and I think it was because of the fact that the movie's under 2 hours. It's if you had more time, you could have fleshed out some more of this. And some of the songs are just a little trite. But on the whole, it's decent, a high 7 point something, I would say. Good movie. Good movie. Pleasantly surprised, like that's kind of where I landed as well. I was thinking, all right, I'm not gonna jive with most of this, but I ended up enjoying it more than I thought I would. That's what you like to see. That's what you like to see. I am still counting down the days until I can see Frankenstein, the Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein. That one is going to hit theaters next month sometime. It's going to come out October 17th. And then Netflix early November. Yeah, buddy. Like, I almost went to TIFF to see that. I almost went to the Toronto International Film Festival to check that one out. Only problem was, the only tickets left were like scalper prices, and it was like, okay, if you want a seat, it's going to be $400. And I was like, excuse me? I can wait till October for that. I can wait for October for that. It would have been great to see it, at the premiere, but that's a little pricey, even for a Vector Spaceman. But it looks so good and I want to see it. Sorry, I got caught looking at the Wikipedia entry for it for a second here. That was one that I actually ended up reading, the novel. A classic. What a good one. I'm trying to think, is that considered one of the first... There's some literary trivia. Is Frankenstein considered one of the first science fiction pieces? It's either one of the first or the first. The first. Look at this. Look at that. The OG. That's good trivia right there. It's a good read. At least by Western standard. Yeah, because I think... like, there's something else where it's like... there's Eastern stories about, like, spaceships or something like that, so do those technically count? But yeah, in terms of, like... oh yeah, you're talking about... applying modern science toward, toward conceptual outcomes. You're gonna leverage galvanism to move bodies around. Take what we can do with like a frog's legs and extrapolate that to a human body. Yeah, that's science fiction for you right there. Oh, speaking of Frankensteins and galvanism and what have you, don't forget, everybody, that friend of the show, Alpine Showtime, is doing a return to the Frankentuber form in a couple of days. Showing off new designs of the old model. We're going back to the windmill for some special streams in October. That'll be fun. Another self-produced, independent, local, virtual entertainer. It is going to be neat. We haven't seen Big Guy in like, I think Alpine retired Big Guy. Ooh, it had to have been just before 2022, I think. Or just before 2023, because Big Guy was retired before we did the first Halloween special. I wanted to have Big Guy as a character when we introduced Alpine to the cast. But they were like, nope, we're not using Big Guy anymore, so I got stuck with the Galvinis, which was fine. They're good characters too. Problem with Alpine is we can't lock them down into any one look. By the time we do another skit, they've got a new model. But yeah, super looking forward to the Frankenstein movie. Which will also be a good chance for me to update the last film that I saw in theaters. Because right now I'm sitting with that Deadpool and Wolverine movie. Which, to be fair, was better than the one before, which was the last Star Wars movie, but still. We could definitely up the quality of our cinema-going experience. So apart from the Nova Swarm potential stream that we might do, if they can get their visual novel out, or when they get their visual novel out, whenever it's done, whenever it's ready, we'll definitely be checking it out. But apart from that, we really haven't got much on the burner going through October, since we're not doing a big fancy special. So we'll see if we can be brought back in to do a stream here or there. Most of the time, we're just going to be working on some behind-the-scenes stuff. It's the autumn Steam sale, of course. So a bunch of stuff's on sale. Cyberpunk, 65% off. I've been meaning to pick that up forever. Maybe it's time. No Man's Sky, 60% off. I'm still spending far too much time in the ship editor, trying to nail down ideal ship designs. That's on me. I should be doing other stuff. Sometimes you just gotta build spaceships. What can I say? It's been a while since I've been excited about a movie like that. Yeah, trying to think. The last... So this is stupid. This is gonna sound stupid. The two films that I've been excited to see have been Frankenstein, and the other film that I saw a trailer for and I was like, oh, I should go see that, was the latest Downton Abbey film. That's a little Spaceman trivia for you. Because it's Spaceman that loves period dramas. Anything with fancy costuming and rich affairs. Just pick up Cyberpunk. I've seen a lot of playthroughs. This is my first time based. Based. You watched the full series? Yeah, I've watched the full series. I watched the first two movies. Listen, we're down to fight that entail, all right? I'm talking Downton Abbey, The Crown, Bridgerton. I'm all about that. I'm all about that period piece, son. I've not seen many playthroughs, though, Ghost. I will say that, because I try to limit what I take in, so that eventually, when I do get around to playing it, I'm not spoiled, you know? In fact, it technically wouldn't even be my first time playing. I played like an hour into it when the game first came out on a different account. But this is back when the game was like riddled with bugs and what have you. And it was kind of a toss-up whether you'd get affected by them or not. And unfortunately, Spaceman did. Spaceman did. So we kind of noped out of that and haven't gone back to it since. But now that it's on sale and I could pick up a copy for myself, maybe it's a good time. Maybe, just maybe, it's a good time. Yeah, the only person's playthrough I've seen, and I can only watch it sparingly, because again, I don't want to get spoiled, right? Is Palm's playthrough. Palm's playthrough, tech running all over the place, burning people's brains and tossing them in dumpsters. Which I feel is probably not the way I'd be playing it, so, you know, I feel like I can tune in every now and then, see what she's up to. And not get too spoiled. But that's why I usually only just pop in, say hi, and then, you know, put it on mute. Palm's perfect because she hardly touches the main quest. Okay, so you don't get spoiled. A completionist, if you will. It's kind of like how I'll tune into the Nova Swarm channel, like Rig and Ellie and Lyra, whenever Ellie's doing like Baldur's Gate stuff. Just pop in, say hi, put it on mute, because I've still never played Baldur's Gate 3. I feel like eventually I'm going to get around to it, but I don't want to get spoiled, right? Just put it on the background, and likewise, at the same time, I feel like Ellie spends a lot more time, you know, making girls kiss than I would in my playthrough, so, you know, it feels like I'm not getting spoiled too much. I feel like we got different priorities for our fantasy adventures. Those are the only two big ones I can think of now, though. Check my wish list. It's the autumn sale. Decided to get it after finding out a funny bit of trivia about Night City. Oh, what's that? Give us some trivia. We love a good bit of trivia. It's an educational program, the Vector Spaceman Show. Let's not forget. We're here to learn. We're here to find out. We're here to fuss about and find out. Oh, PicoCAD's on sale. That's not so much a game, but it's a little tool. It's this cool little tool for making, like, low-poly 3D assets. Pretty cool. You'll DM me about it? What do you mean you'll DM me about it? What the heck is this? What the heck could this be? But alright, DM me about it. What did you find out about Night City that made you decide to get the game that you can't post on main? Nothing could be more suspicious. Super aliased model builder. That's one way of looking at it, I suppose. Ooh, I didn't know this. Hypnospace Outlaws on sale. For like $6. Canadian, that's hardly even real money. I think we saw a friend of the show, Rashawn Galaxy, was talking about this game. It's like a very... It's like surfing the net in the 90s, but you're like some sort of like web detective or something like that. So it's like a game within a virtual browser sort of thing. Very cool concept. Yeah, PicoCAD's pretty... Like, you know what's weird? It's like sometimes there's certain tools that are just so good at what they do. Like, obviously you could make the same sort of things in PicoCAD that you could make in, like, Blender or 3ds Max or whatever. But when you got a handy-dandy little tool that's just purpose-built for making these super low-res, super basic 3D assets, it just works better. Sometimes having that limitation works to your benefit. It's like I could do anything that I do in Sprite in something like Photoshop or Clip Studio or something, right? But Sprite's just got a really slick interface that's purpose-built for doing sprite work. So it just works. It's worth the purchase. And I am probably going to be using that more often. I was doing a little bit of sprite work today for the project that we're trying to get done for our October. Since we're not doing the special, we're going to try to put together a little mini game or something. Our own little personal game jam, if you will. Which was what we were trying to do last week. Was do a little Godot work. Start messing around with pathing, using some of the built-in functionality, which we've done in the past, but we do need a refresher on because it's not intuitive. But if I try to program it all from the ground up, it's just going to be a hassle. I know it's going to be a hassle. So we got to figure out how they want us to make it work. Shucks, boy. Ooh, yeah, we love doing a little game dev stuff. We've made a few little mini games on stream before. It's always a good time. And Godot is probably one of the more approachable, like, engines. Really lightweight. I wouldn't recommend GD script. That's the only thing I could say about it. It's got support for C#, that's just a more robust language. I don't know why people still insist on making proprietary scripting languages. It's just more stuff to learn. It's not necessarily simpler. Unless it's like your first foray into doing any sort of programming. I guess that's the only thing. If your idea is to make it as approachable as possible, you want to use more like natural language instead of good old-fashioned, concise programming terminology, then I guess I could see that being a reason. I guess. If I'm forced to concede any point to it. But yeah, with luck, we'll have a little playable game for the end of October / the beginning of November. And November 1st, you guys, is going to be the 4-year anniversary, stream-iversary, if you will, of the Vector Spaceman show. That's pretty cool, eh? 4 whole years of this. Of this nonsense. Almost entirely of this nonsense, because we were onto the 2.0 model before that first year was even done. Awesome? I don't know about awesome. I wish we'd had a little more time to invest into you know, perfecting our craft over the years we've been here. Problem is we keep taking on big projects, and then that means we don't have any opportunity to, you know, really focus on the show itself. Which is fine when you think about it, because we've got to make some really cool stuff and we've got to work with some really cool people. And we'll keep making some cool stuff and we'll keep working with cool people. More friends for the show. More collabs. More events. More funny skits. Listen, if there's anything I'd love to do more of, it's funny skits. Like I said, we're not doing a special this year. We've got casting issues, we've got availability issues, we've got the fact that it literally kills us to get it done on time. But skits we might be able to keep working. Little 5-minute skits here and there, that might be something we can continue to churn out. That's a little, you know, that's a little more reasonable. Christmas skit. Valentine's skit. It's all on the table. We've still got plenty of ideas. I've always said we'll keep doing those as long as we've got, like, jokes. As long as we've got concepts. As long as we've got stuff to tell, to make fun of. We've got a big old file in the Google Drive called Jokes and Bits. That's just full of stuff that we want to put into skits and jokes and stuff like that, or that we have put into jokes and skits and specials. In fact, I think the oldest entry in this this file is putting Space Buffoon in an It-type role in the sewers, and we ended up doing that for the very first Halloween special, which ended up working perfectly, because we needed some sort of transition scene. But yeah, we've still got plenty of stuff in here, which means we've got plenty of jokes to tell, which means we got plenty of skits that we can churn out over the months, over the years. A lot of people have so much going on in their lives lately. This is true. Well, here's the thing, is that we always knew that one of these days, sooner or later, you know, the dream comes to an end. The stream comes to an end. People move on, right? People get other priorities. People get stuff, you know, that's going on. But I will say it's surprising just how many people from the, like, 2021 era have stuck around. Especially the people that we've made sort of our core go-to, like, people to work with. Pretty much everybody is still around. And I think that's pretty cool. Guess it goes to show we know how to pick them. But yeah, we just didn't have a whole lot of, how would you say, a whole lot of drive to do a Halloween special this year, especially after last year's, which was a little more exhausting than usual. Can't keep topping ourselves. So, hey, we do skits and stuff. We're going to take October, we're going to do something completely different, completely new, hopefully still enjoyable. And when we come back in November, Who knows? We could have a whole new... Don't want to get too ambitious. I was going to say whole new Spaceman, but a whole new... vector for the show, perhaps. A whole new direction. A whole new ambition. That's about as forward thinking as we can be at the moment, I guess. Well, Space Cadets, once again, it looks like we have managed to chit-chat our way out of actually doing any work tonight. Not that I'm complaining, of course. Since I far prefer doing this sort of thing to, you know, games or anything like that. It was a fun talk. Who doesn't love a good yap? Now, despite our intention to take the month off, we probably will be back here or there. Either for the Nova Swarm dropping their latest game, or for... Oh, shoot! Speak of the devil. 4 minutes ago, Nova Swarm just dropped a link to their new visual novel. So, Rig, if you're still around, you're saying this is the demo? The version uploaded for the Spooktober Visual Novel Jam. First of all, you guys, check this out. Check this out. Come with me. Come with me on an adventure. Let's go to the desk so we can go to the laptop so we can check this out. Boo Wants Friends. A downloadable game for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. The latest visual novel from the Nova Swarm. It has been 3 weeks since Cassia's older sister, Senna, and her party have left on a quest. Having always dreamt of being a courageous adventurer, Cassia sets out to find her sister. Following the marks left by the party, the young girl stumbles upon a strange black house. She's greeted by a small green plushie by the name of Boo. That's Boo right there, right? Their little dragon mascot? That's fun. Okay, this version is uploaded for the Spooktober Visual Novel Jam, is a demo of Boo Wants Friends. This visual novel is still under development. Please keep an eye on the game page and our social media for updates. Like I can tell, this is Lyra's artwork, or maybe that actually looks kind of like Ellie's. That looks like Lyra's. Ellie, Lyra, Rig. Crayon drawings scattered around the grounds. A lot of, I don't know what necessarily is going on in the story here, but I'm seeing a lot of characters. Those look like the trio from their last game, Red Zero. That's a nice little Easter egg. Anybody else we recognize? That looks like one of Lyra's characters. It is a cute little game. Boo Wants Friends. You can download that now. You can download that now at this link. I'll put it in the chat. Bam! I feel like I'm gonna wait until the full thing comes out, though. But there's a link on this page that leads to Red Zero, which was their first visual novel, which we have also played on stream here. And that's a pretty good time. You just got to remember to save. you gotta remember to save all the time. So you can get all the different routes. And so you don't have to reload it or start from the beginning every time. I had to learn that firsthand, because that's something I never played before, was visual novels. That was not my genre. Not even in the slightest. But knowing the Nova Swarm, it's going to be a fantastic game. I'll wait until the full thing comes out so I can experience it, so I can share it here on the stream. But don't we love independent game developers? Developers, 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 developers. Say it with me, cadets. Developers, 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 developers. And that's in Ren'Py, right, Rig? That's a pretty ubiquitous engine for visual novels, if I'm not mistaken. Really makes it easier. That's what I've got to get more comfortable with. Is using existing tools instead of trying to reinvent the wheel and make everything myself. Developers, evilopers, propellators. You've got the spirit, Rumble. And that's good enough. Always funny playing a really cool game and find out it was made by 1 to 3 people. We love small developer teams, don't we? See, this is my problem. Like, when I was a student, especially with computer science, was I'd always be scoring either, like, perfect grades, hundreds on assignments, or big fat zeros, because I would not submit, basically. And this is because I would basically never ask for help, never ask for clarification. I'd always try to figure it out myself. This was a bad habit. This was a bad way of doing things. If it was just the way Spaceman was raised, if it was, I don't know, just feeling too embarrassed to ask for clarification or assistance or anything like that. But it was basically either, okay, I understand what I'm doing, so we're gonna ace this, or it was, man, I cannot make heads or tails of this, and so I end up not submitting. So my grades always suffered because of that silliness. Hey, Barrels, how you doing? Just in time to hear me lament my old comp sci days. And why I still insist on doing everything myself. Hope you're having a good Tuesday. Hope things are going well. Eating some dinner? Nice. What you having? What you enjoying? Spaceman had some ribs tonight. We had some nice ribs. Hope everybody else is staying full. Started eating more consistently, which is nice. Now that the summer's done, we don't have to be so thin. It's called a Euro platter. Nice. We like a Euro platter. All right, here's the deal, you guys. We're getting treacherously close to another ad break, and I don't want to put you guys through that. So given that it's just crossing the 2-hour mark here, we'll probably call it for tonight. We'll find ourselves somebody to raid. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Okay, here's what we're doing. we're going to raid into the Game Grotto. Meg and Don, who are also self-produced virtual streamers. They're also game developers. They've got a title out on Steam called Bots and the Robo Friends. They're working on a couple other titles right now. They're great folks. They're doing a stream with some friends right here, it looks like. They are exposing some other friends of the show, Cranberry Nari, and one other guest that I'm not familiar with, to Homestar Runner. This is great. This is fantastic. This is right up our alley. This is the perfect raid opportunity. Totally get wanting to do stuff yourself. That being said, I still keep asking people if I can help with stuff. Yeah, I love helping people with stuff. It's just asking for help. What does that say about Spaceman? Don't want to psychoanalyze that too much, I guess. Hex, yeah. See you when you get back. So here's the thing. I doubt that we're going to be completely radio silent for the entirety of October, like we would usually be doing if we were working on a special. So we will try to check in every once in a while. Whether that's, once a week like we've been trying to keep up, or once every couple weeks, we'll be back. And if not, it's only a short little while until November 1st, when the Vector Spaceman Show returns for our 4-year stream-iversary. Until then, of course, Space Cadets, I want to thank each and every one of yous for tuning in tonight, wherever and whenever you are. You can join us again when we see you. Maybe that's next week, maybe it's the week after. It'll usually be 8 p.m. Eastern, right here at Harbor Station. We'll catch you on the other side, Space Cadets, whenever we do see you. Until then, of course, no matter what life throws your way, good luck and Godspeed. This has been Vector Spaceman, signing off. Now stick around for that raid, you guys, because we are about to go and send you off for some more great content for your evening. Say hi to Meg and Don. Be on your best behavior. Say nice things. Be a pal. Tell them they're doing a great job out there. And we'll see you guys all again real soon. Bye-bye.